Hello and welcome back to the Film Custodian Show. I am the Film Custodian. I just took off my uniform and I'm ready to sit down and talk about the Rings of Power, Episode 5. This show is garbage. The episode is garbage. It's not going to get any better. That's the short of it, really, long and short of it. If you wanted the short version, that's it. Because the rest of this is just going to be me ranting incoherently about all kinds of different things. I mean, this is not a breakdown. This is not a essay, or even like, I don't know, any kind of proper review, I guess. This is a rant because I'm just going to go off because at this point, it doesn't matter. Everything in this show is crap. Everything that I thought was going to be kind of, interesting or it was interesting, it's now not interesting. The show mind-bogglingly dull and finds a way to become more dull and more crap. It's fascinating, really. There's this one subplot that was brought in a couple episodes ago where Elrond, I thought that the actor was doing a good job kind of playing sort of regal stoic elf. No, not anymore. Now it's just, it's not, all I see is Ned Stark. He is a young Ned Stark and he was great in that role. He's kind of gritty and grungy looking. I mean, look at him. He looks like he was, in the north of Westeros, and he's a young Ned Stark. But yeah, so anyway, there's this subplot with the Mithril, which Durin and all of his company are they're digging down into the mines and they're trying to find this thing. And then Elrond goes there to why did he go there to begin with? He went there to get help from the dwarves to build the tower that Celebrimbor wants, right? And I thought at the time, well, that tower is going to be where they're going to make the Rings of Power. That doesn't seem to be the case. Now, apparently, this whole thing was a conspiracy, that Celebrimbor was actually conspiring with the King of Lindon, the High King of the Elves. I don't remember his name. I don't care. And they both knew they were going to send Elrond off to go and find out exactly what this Mithril is, but they actually do know what it is because it's growing in the tree there. You see some darkness and stuff, so they knew that there's a darkness that Mithril is causing their light to go out or something. I don't know. You could see me struggling here because it makes no sense. It makes no sense. If you know what's going on, please leave it in the comments below. Write in the comments below. Say, this is what's happening, blah, blah, blah. Tell me all about the lore. Is this in the books? I don't know, okay? Like I've said a bunch of times, I am not a lore master. I don't know Middle-earth in and out. I'm a fan of Peter Jackson's films and The Hobbit. I've read The Hobbit several times. I read The Fellowship of the Ring. That's it. I haven't read The Two Towers, Return of the King, or the appendices in that. I haven't read The Silmarillion. I want to, and that's on my list. I'm going to do that. But I haven't read all the bigger lore and whatnot. So, yeah, if you're an expert, please tell me in the comments below. Is this part of the lore? Is the Mithril causing the light of the elves to go out or something? I don't know. Anyway, so that's what's going on with them. Let's jump back over to Numenor. To Numenor! What's his name? Elendiel. Yeah, Elendiel continues to treat his son Isildur like shit. I'm not completely sure why. I guess because he's just a screw-up. His friends also treat him like garbage. And they're also just awkwardly written, all three of them. Isildur and his buddies. They're all written like they're teenagers. The writers just suck on this show. The writers have no clue what they're doing. And I don't think they're even aware of what they're doing. I don't know. I think the only thing I could say that's kind of neat about Numenor is their armor. They have some armor that looks like it's kind of like marble, like fashioned out of a marble statue kind of look. But then they come up to each other and, how you doing? Hug each other and smack the armor, and there's no clinging noises. There's no, noise that could be armor. It sounds like plastic, which is probably what it is. So yeah, the audio department, you guys, you didn't put the Foley in there. You didn't put the Foley noise in there. You're letting me down. I will say Bear McCreary, he's the guy that is doing the music. he actually did a couple good themes. The theme of Numenor, and it's actually pretty good. So yeah, good on you. So you got the theme of Numenor is good. You got the look of Numenor is good. The armor is cool and all that. The ships and all the design and everything. But everything happening there is crap. Galadriel continues to be a bitch. She just wanders around, and at one point she's, oh, I'm sorry, Halbrand, I'm sorry for using you, but now I'm going to use you. It's like, what? And not only does she act like a bitch, but then she gets rewarded for it. So there's no redeeming qualities at all. And then we have to talk about the training sequence. So now Galadriel is going to do, she's, you have a Elendiel there, and he's just, use your feet, lad. That's right. And then Galadriel comes up, and he's just like, would you mind giving them a lesson? And she's like, I guess so, why not? So now she gets a sword, and then she ends up with 2 swords, and it's just this horribly choreographed. And the music! You're letting me down, Bear. You're letting me down. The music becomes this Pirates of the Caribbean goofy kind of like, it just sounds like, like ding, 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 ding. It just becomes a big joke. And it, so just totally, it completely shifts over, and now it's just this big joke. She's like, spinning around and doing that. I hate it when they do this in movies. The guy swings down, and then they'll just have the character that's being swung at go, or, ooh, oh, it's just really dumb. And that was one of the parts that I didn't like from Obi-Wan Kenobi was, spoilers, whatever. Reva kind of attacks Darth Vader, and Darth Vader, who's clad, in his armor, and he's just this big hulking mass of a dude, and all this armor and whatnot, and he's just going, and it's just, no, this doesn't look cool. This looks stupid. It's stupid. Stop doing it. There is no cool way to do it, in my humble opinion. Again, I'm just some guy on the internet. This is just my opinion, okay? Okay, clear enough. So, that's what's going on in Numenor. Galadriel basically shows up, yells and screams at everybody, gets thrown in jail. The next episode, they're like, we need to give you an army, and they give her an army. So she's rewarded for being a bitch. And then at the end of the episode, she kind of walks onto the ships, and everything is in slow motion, right? And everything's in slow motion, and she's well lit, like the light shining on her face and all this shit. And, just like it's like lights shining on her face and all this shit, and it's just gleaming off of her armor, just walking. And all the guys are just like, they're just, wow, she's so awesome, wow. And it's just like, who wrote this? This is written by teenagers, for teenagers, not even then, teenagers. This is cringe, is what this is. The people that wrote this, those 2 guys, the showrunners, I can't remember their names, and whoever else wrote this, I don't understand how this passed any kind of quality check, any kind of, who are the gatekeepers? Because you're failing at your job. And she just comes up, and it's all unearned. There is nothing earned. Okay, so, and what I mean by that is that she didn't earn that hero moment where she gets onto the ship and now she's going to Middle-earth to take revenge or whatever the hell is going on. She didn't earn that. That wasn't earned. Halbrand, which at this point probably is Sauron. Oh, right, that a lot of people have suspected for a while that Halbrand is actually Sauron. This makes perfect sense because the show is stupid and I could totally see that happening. In the last episode I mentioned that Meteorite Man isn't Sauron, that this guy is Sauron. The guy is, he's got the white, robes and whatnot, and his staff has the sort of the Eye of Sauron in the middle of it. But then I also mentioned he could be a red herring. It looks like he is indeed going to be a red herring because just to make him Sauron now is just like, who cares? I don't know. Maybe Meteorite Man is Sauron. I don't know. It seems to be the only mystery, the only thing that I'm even curious about at all at this point is just who actually is Sauron, just because I think it would be obvious and lazy. Like, what's the laziest choice? Probably Halbrand, right? Because looks can be deceiving. He's, Sauron is the great deceiver. He's basically the devil, right? So, okay, Halbrand. Makes sense. It probably is. He probably is Sauron. And now they've given him an army, right? And he's going to show up to the south. Or maybe Halbrand was Halbrand. And Sauron killed him and now possesses his body. right? So he's going to show up and be the king, and everyone's going to kind of, gather around him, and he's going to lead the charge. Or is he? It's like, but you can, I don't know. This just hurts your brain trying to figure all this crap out, quite frankly. The show is just, it's something. And then you have Elendiel. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that name wrong. Actually, in the Southlands, he's in the discount version of Helm's Deep with the woman Brandywine or Broadwin or whatever her name is. So they're hanging out there. The kid finally brings out the sword that has been smashed and whatnot, and he shows it to the elf, and he's like, "Look at this! I've had this the entire time." And he's like, "I've seen this somewhere." Looks over, turns to the wall right behind him, moves back all these vines and roots and whatnot, and reveals that same sword that's been carved into the stone or the tree or whatever that is. And there's like this Sauron-looking mask, and then the sword itself, and it's like being plunged into what is like Men of the South, like you've always been destined to be evil, like it's in your blood or something. What? I don't know. I don't care. Oh, yeah, I realized the reason that Elendiel looks familiar is because he plays Benjen Stark in a much better show, Benjen Stark in Game of Thrones. So there's actually 2 actors carried over from Game of Thrones. And right now, they're probably like, "Man, I made a big mistake being in this pile of dog shit." Okay, so the Harfoots are back. God, who would have known that, if they're really going to connect the Harfoots to Frodo and Bilbo, that they're somehow the ancestors, they're way back ancestors or whatever. That's really too bad. I feel sorry for you guys that the Harfoots were such terrible, terrible people. They're absolutely garbage human beings, okay? Well, they're not human, they're Harfoots. What? Whatever. They're crap. They're terrible. Because they're singing that song, right? In the last episode, or 4 or 3, I don't know. They're just, "Nobody walks off trail. Nobody walks off trail. Nobody walks off trail. Nobody walks off trail. Nobody walks alone. Nobody walks alone." Unless you fall behind, and then they leave you behind. And then they have a book that they open up, like, "So-and-so was killed by bees. So-and-so, fell off a cliff," or whatever. And it's like, that's how they remember you. "Oh, these idiots, they fell off the trail. Screw them." Plus, the Harfoots just are disgusting, dirty, nasty, gross. And again, because nothing actually happening on screen is interesting, I was distracted by, they're putting like hay, so the Harfoots blend into the environment, right? So they put like grass in their hair and, grass on their caravans and whatnot, and put them, like in their shirts and whatnot, so they can quickly hide. That just reminded me of the Borrowers, to be honest. They seem to be more like borrowers than, an ancient race of hobbits or whatever. But I mean, actually, it would make sense that there's actually a couple different races, a couple different species of Harfoots, and eventually one of those species becomes hobbits, right? Evolves into hobbits over the next couple thousand years or whatever. So that would make sense, because this species definitely dies out, right? At the rate that they're going, the way that they're going, the whole thing is that nobody walks off trail unless you break your foot like that one guy, and then they leave you behind to die. They do it to themselves, right? It's like the Sith. The Sith constantly battle each other. The Sith is from Star Wars, in case you're not a nerd. The Sith battle each other constantly until there's one left, one powerful Sith, right? The rule of 2, right? The Harfoots their whole philosophy is going to get themselves, they're going to become extinct, because it's just, he's gone, screw him. He's gone, screw him. And I don't even know what's happening. So then you got the big giant guy with them. So there's some wolves that come along and try to kill them. And then Meteorite Man does some, throws his arms down on the ground and blows the wolves away. And then so by using magic, he sort of injured himself. Like his arm has got some black on it. And he's like, I got to do something about this. So he sticks his arm inside the water, and it starts to freeze his arm. His arm becomes frozen. And then Nori comes around, and she's like, "Oh, what's going on?" And puts her hand on his arm, and so her arm starts to become all frozen until he you know, backs away or whatever. And then so now she doesn't trust him. Now she's like, after telling him earlier that he's good, now she's afraid of him. And also, in this episode now, the meteorite man has learned to speak very well. He just starts talking in sentences, which was very jarring because the past several episodes he didn't do anything except, you know, go, "Arr!" And now he can speak in complete sentences, so that was really jarring. I don't think the writers are aware that they've created a terrible band of people. The Harfoots are horrible people. And I don't think they're aware. Like, there's nothing charming about them. There's nothing redeeming about them. And I could say that for pretty much every character in this show. At this point, so I think I've covered everything. I think I have. Well, they did show, okay, so yeah, the guy in the white robes shows up with a couple other people in white robes. They might just be cultists or something like that, or they're going to be the ones that resurrect Sauron, but he's already around, right? I don't know. But they go to where Meteorite Man was, and they're kind of looking at it like, ooh, which might lead to, oh, okay, so he might be Sauron only because of these guys or something. I don't know. Who even cares? Look, I'm sorry for the incoherent rant here because it's not. This, like I said, this is not a breakdown. This is not like an analytical type of discussion, or I'm going to break this down scene by scene. More power to you if you got time to do that. I just wanted to make this video, review this episode in sort of like a all-encompassing kind of rant. But I guess another way to, you know, you want to, again, compare this to the other fantasy show on TV right now, which is House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon is a real show. Each episode has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and has interesting characters and a story. We know what the story is from the outset. The king needs an heir. You need to name a successor. Okay, great. So then you got his brother over here, you got his daughter over here, you got other interested parties, and now they're all going to smash and, you know, get together and try to kill each other, and we're going to find out, like, it's an interesting, good story. And every episode has been brilliant, especially in comparison with this crap. I don't know how this crap got made. I really don't. And I'm not going to get into, you know, how bad the choreography was or how bad the CGI is. There's plenty of other channels that talk about that. But, I mean, yes, the choreography and the CGI is terrible. Isildur saves the boat. Going back to Numenor, I forgot to mention one of the big events was there was a cool explosion. Which is like... normally, I even say, you know, this show, I don't need explosions every 5 seconds to be interested. Look at all the things blowing up. But this is just boring. What these episodes do is they're like 70 minutes long. And there's about 50 minutes of that is just nothing. It's people walking around and, you know, doing whatever they're even doing. It's hard to even remember. And then... the last 10 minutes of the episode, they actually do stuff that moves the story around. But you're just bombarded with it right at the end. Oh, by the way, Halbrand, you're the king. You know, oh, by the way, here's your army. You know, to middle left, and we're going to middle left now. And yeah, I mean, you're just bombarded with all the crucial information at the end. And then so now you're just left confused and dazed and wondering what's going on. Oh yeah, also when, funnily enough, I just thought this was really funny. They're at Discount Helm's Deep, and Adair and his men and orcs are coming up, and you can kind of see the flames in the background, completely ripped off of Helm's Deep. And then the woman asks Elendiel, he's like, when are they going to get here? And he's just, well, could be hours. No, I'm sorry. Could be days, but it could be hours. It could be hours, but it could be days. Maybe minutes. Oh, they're at the gate right now. It's like, what are you jumping from days to hours? Well, you don't really seem to know anything, do you? And that's the other thing, too. If I have to constantly go to the books to find out what the hell is going on in the show, then the show has failed. The show is supposed to tell me everything I need to know. If a book, I mean, this is true for all shows and all movies that are based on source materials. If I have to go back and read about something, then the show has failed. The show or the movie is supposed to tell me everything that I need to know to understand what's going on, to understand the story. This is just basic stuff. So, you know, if it's like, oh, well, did this happen at this time and was this person over here? Like, it doesn't matter, and they've already proven that it doesn't matter. There was one good thing about this episode that stuck out to me. When they're explaining, I think during the Battle of Morgoth, or the War of Morgoth, there was an elf that stood by this tree, and then a Balrog attacked it. And it was really cool slow motion kind of visual. And yes, slow motion can be cool sometimes. In this context, it works. It worked this time. And he's kind of like, he's sitting up there with his shield, and you got the Balrog, which the Balrog looks pretty much exactly like it did in the Lord of the Rings. So I guess copyrights, it didn't really matter if they make the Balrog exactly like the other Balrog. Like, it didn't have to be an original Balrog. Whatever, I don't know. Details, man, details, wow. So anyway, he's destroying the tree, and like the clash of these powers, you know, went down into the roots of the tree and down into the earth, and that's what created Mithril. And somehow this power is now, or wait, that's not, wait. Well, the light of the elves is fading for some reason. I'm actually not clear on that. But this particular light, Mithril, if they mine it up and get enough of this Mithril, they can use that light to give the elves light again. If I completely screwed that up, tell me what actually happened in the comments. I really don't give a shit at this point. The show is just so damn bad. Well, I hope that this ridiculous rant was entertaining enough to you, to anybody out there watching, because it's at this point there's it's just so mind-bogglingly bad and dull. All right, well, this has been the Film Custodian, back in the garage, ranting about the Rings of Power, the Lord of the Rings of Power, and stuff. We are in this 5 hours, which is about a movie and a half for the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and nothing has happened. About 10 minutes of actual story has actually happened. So it continues to be a terrible show, and I hope it gets canceled. If you like this show and you're getting something out of it, well, great. Sweet. That's awesome. But I personally, this does absolutely nothing for me. Please like and subscribe to the video. Please like it. Please subscribe. Please share. Please leave a comment below. All right. See you in the next one.